I've always loved science fiction. My very first memory in the world is watching Star Trek reruns with my parents and actually eating vegetables out of our garden. So I knew I was always going to become either a farmer or a science fiction person of some sort. So that was really great. And science fiction has always been so important to me. Even as a kid, I think some of my favorite books were things I probably shouldn't have really been reading as a kid, some of the edgier new wave stuff from the 1960s and 70s, but Joanna Russ's The Female Man was one of the first books I read, and I don't think I understood it when I was 10 or 11, but I was so interested in what I didn't understand, I just kept coming back to it and coming back to it. And around the same time, I was also reading Sam Delaney, and in particular, Stars in My Pocket, Like Grains of Sand. And again, it was just so amazing to read about these futures that I felt represented in, where really futures in full color that included people of all sort of shapes and races and genders and sizes and dispositions. And to this day, I think those are two of the books I still recommend to students when they say, what should I read next? So I'm a Regents Professor of Science Fiction Studies at Georgia Tech, and that means I really do get to do science fiction studies almost all the time. So that's one of my main areas of research. I'm officially and originally trained in contemporary literature and postmodernism, and there's a lot of similarities, of course, between postmodernism and science fiction. They're both very fantastic genres. They tend towards arealism rather than strict realism. And so I occasionally still get to teach some of that as well, and I really love teaching science fiction and fantastic but more mainstream literature together. And my other area of specialty is gender studies. So I do a lot of research and teaching in that area as well, and of course that very much comes together in my books. So the first book will be William Gibson's Neuromancer. It's a marvelous book. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan in the United States, which is very much a cyberpunk city. If any of you have ever seen RoboCop, you'll know what I'm talking about. And cyberpunk just spoke to our souls when we were teenagers, for sure. And when my friends and I all went away to college in different parts of the country, that was one of the ways we decided to stay in touch, was by exchanging books. And one of the first ones we exchanged was Neuromancer. And that book means so much to me that we actually named our son after the protagonist of it. Yeah. Another book I really love, a more recent book, would be Charlie Jane Anders' Promises Greater Than, I think it's Darkness. I'm forgetting the name of it. It's the Unstoppable Trilogy. It's a young adult queer space opera. And my understanding is that Amazon is currently making it into a series, so hopefully other people will get a chance to see it as a video series. But it's a wonderful story about a girl growing up on Earth. She knows that she's a hidden alien. She's a chosen one. She's the clone of a famous alien general. She's being hidden away, they're saving her for use in a great galactic war. And then the galactic war happens, and she and her friends from Earth are allowed to go into the Space Academy, and nothing works out the way it's supposed to. And it's a really great series. I think it's so important right now, especially because it's very much about hopefulness, right? And staying hopeful and recognizing that even though the world and the universe are always going to be complicated and challenging places for us, that hopefulness and kindness actually really matter in the future. And I think that actually is a great example then for my lead-in to my third recommendation, which is Becky Chambers' Monk and Robot series. And these are two fairly short and slim novels set about, 5,000-10,000 years into the future. I'm not even sure if we're on Earth or not, but it's a post-scarcity future where in their past humans had developed AI, and the AI embody themselves as robots, and they help humans. They don't go to war. Instead, they help humans clean up a climate crisis and help humans shift to a post-scarcity economy. And then they say, you seem good, we're gonna go into the wilderness for 5,000 years and go find ourselves, and we'll come back to check on you later. And the series follows what happens when the robots come back to check on us. I would love to meet Joanna Russ. Absolutely. Like I said before, she was one of the first science fiction authors I really read and responded to. Really someone who helped me articulate my own feminist ideas, and someone whose stories still challenge me and my students to this day. And I've always read and heard from other people who met her that she was one of the kindest and most warm and loving people ever, which is very funny if you've ever read her stories, which are very acerbic and very sharp and pointed. And I would love to meet her and know what that was like.